Galimera, Galimera, Galimera. Good morning, good morning, good morning from a very sunny day today here in Zakynthos. It is absolutely gorgeous today. The little fella you're looking at them now is our little Sandy. He's a cheeky little boy, he is, and a very, very affectionate cat. Say hello, Sandy, to all the people tuning in. A few people here joining us. Right, let's have a quick look, shall we? Let's look at the how the things are looking at the moment. I've got to be honest. Let's start from over here today. Oh God, feel that sun, absolutely glorious. Yeah, it's very, very warm today. Obviously, as you can see, the sun is shining high in the sky. Big shout out to Lyndon and also Jan, who's up the road from us, who's tuning in. Nice to see you guys here this morning. As you can see, it is a day for washing. It's a beautiful day for washing. Clear skies looking over towards Sillavi, and also looking over towards Laguna, and also as the crow flies through to Kalamaki, it's looking good down there as well. Even little Sandy boy is excited as he's coming rubbing around my legs. The chickens are all out and about. They're just cheeky bunch, these chickens, I'll tell you. In fact, Jan, who's tuning in, is the man that got me into liking chickens. Yeah, when we did some house sitting for him one year, we were given the responsibility of looking after the chickens, and it kind of gelled. So thank you for that, Jan. Tim Crystal's tuning in at the moment. Nice to see you here as well. Tracy Mitchell. Look at those skies. Look at the blueness. And they're just a hint of cloud, which looks absolutely fantastic. Looking over towards, where is it? Pandacratra, and then through down to Keri, and over there. Absolutely fantastic. Looking absolutely lovely. People are telling me about their weather at the moment over in the UK and other parts of the world. Also, Amanda Gregory, I hope, is going to turn up with a weather forecast for today. I do enjoy her weather forecast. And also, yeah. Anyway, last 24 hours, it has been very, very difficult at the moment trying to keep up with what's been going on here at the moment. So what I'm going to do now is give you the news, because to be honest, the news at the moment, especially with the COVID stats at the moment, it is literally, it changes within a few hours here on Zakynthos. It is quite interesting at the moment. So anyway, let's crack on then. Right, 4th of February today. My God, we're into the 4th of February already. And it's a Wednesday. Can you believe where is this week going as well? Anyway, I reckon it's about day 89 at the moment on the lockdown. We all seem to have lost count somewhere along the way, but we'll say it's day 89. Right, one thing's for sure, COVID in the last 24 hours. Right. New infections across Greece today, or like yesterday, has been 1,151. Now, infections are down from the day before, where we had a bit of a record at 1,261. That means we've had 159,866 infections since the pandemic started. Now, 8 of these new cases were identified after checks at the country's gateways. That was also down. Not seen any new cases in Catalonia or in Corfu. However, the national stats say at the moment that Zakynthos has had 4 cases on Zakynthos. Well, at the moment, I don't think the national stats are keeping up with what's going on here at the moment. But anyway, literally this morning, there's been another new case of coronavirus. A 32-year-old man went into the hospital late last night complaining of mild symptoms. He was checked and tested, found to be positive. He's been sent home for 14 days quarantine. So that was the first case yesterday. Also yesterday, a 36-year-old woman tested positive for the virus. She again went to the hospital around about midday, complaining of symptoms, and she was tested, and she was also found to have the virus, and she again has been sent home on 14 days home quarantine. Also, later in the same afternoon, a 16-year-old girl was tested positive for coronavirus. Now, according to the result, she'd also gone to the hospital with suffering mild symptoms of the virus. And she has been put into home quarantine as well. Now, that 16-year-old has it has been said that she was a contact with somebody else who had tested positive and had the virus. It didn't say it was a family member or somebody like that, but it was somebody who'd come into contact with somebody else. Anyway, she's also been sent home for 14 days quarantine as well. Also, as well, later yesterday evening, there were two further cases. One was a 71-year-old man who also had tested positive. He has not been said about whether he's stayed in the hospital or whether he's been sent home for 14 days self-quarantine. Also, a 35-year-old woman also reported to the hospital yesterday. She was tested, found to be positive, and has, again, it's not been said whether she has been kept at the hospital or whether she has gone home. But again, this morning, again, as I've just said, a 35-year-old man has tested. So all in all, yesterday, we've had 5 confirmed cases here on Zakynthos. That's just yesterday. That's bringing our total here in Zakynthos up to 46 positive cases since the beginning of the year. Now, when I say positive cases, these are not people testing positive for the test, but actually going in with symptoms of the virus and being tested and testing positive. And they have been located. And so that means just for this month of February alone, we've had 12 positive cases here on Zakynthos. So again, we're keeping the tally going. To be honest, in these last few days, it's been actually quite difficult to keep up with the tally. And I know even some of the local press themselves have been finding it difficult to keep up with the tally that's been going up to the hospital. Some good positive news then. Oh, no, sorry, no, not positive news. New deaths yesterday. I'm afraid our death rate is up here in Greece. We had 27 new deaths yesterday across the country, where we'd only had 22 the day before. That brings the total amount of people passing from the virus since the pandemic started to 5,878. The average age of those people was 79 years of age, and 95.4% had underlying health problems or were over the age of 70. When it comes to the ICUs, again, across the country, those numbers are up as well, unfortunately. We had 244 cases in the ICUs when I last reported to you. Today, there is 246, of which 177 are male and 69 are female. Once again, the average age of critical patients in ICUs across the country is 68 years of age, and 68% of those also have underlying health conditions as well. So again, everything seems to be up at the moment, which is not looking good. Anyway, the Greek government is deeply concerned at the deteriorating epidemiological situation in Greece at the moment. Within Attica, mainly, they've had 606 confirmed cases, which is now raising the fear of a third wave of the virus. Anyway, the next few days is obviously going to be crucial in determining whether additional measures are going to be needed. I can't see how much more additional measures can be implemented where we are, apart from basically all the schools being closed. In fact, I didn't mention this yesterday. I do apologise to Howard for giving me the information. Yes, the primary school kids are back at school. The high school kids are not back at school at the moment. They're still at home. But the Lyceum, that's the older children, 14.5 to 17-year-olds, they are still distance learning at the moment at home. So at the moment, the primary school kids are back. And that's it. So the worst thing can happen there is obviously the primary school, kindergarten kids, they are not at school anymore. They stay at home. We're already in lockdown from 6 o'clock at night until 5 o'clock in the morning. And I must admit, they even switched the street lights off where we live between 6 o'clock till 5 o'clock in the morning. And to be honest, we haven't seen anybody break the curfew at the moment, driving up and down where we live in Macardo. So that's a good thing. Anyway, Also, as well, yesterday, after testing the employees of the Municipality of Zakynthos, which proved to be a yield negative results, so nobody had tested positive. Now, this was the second set of testing that was done after, you might remember, last Friday, there was testing two employees from the municipality. One was a deputy mayor, and the other was a cleaner who tested positive for the virus. They then decided to retest all of the municipality workers after mass testing on Friday with a second tester just to confirm to see if the virus may have gone through anybody. Well, good result is that nobody tested positive yesterday from those checks done for the municipality. There are still some more testing to be done, and that will be of the sanitation workers. They are going to be tested today, and hopefully the bin men and those guys will be back collecting the bins, all right, and basically they will not have any infection among their ranks as well. Interestingly, looking towards Athens, Athens Police said on Tuesday night they arrested a man who held a party in his apartment in the central Athenian district of Kypseli. He had 42 guests at his party in defiance of the COVID measures. Anyway, officers slapped the apartment owner with a €3,000 fine for violating the laws on halting the pandemic. All the guests as well were also fined 300 for basically breaking the rules on restricted movement, and obviously for not wearing masks. So whether they got a double whammy for one, 300 for not booking out or breaking the restriction moves, or two for not wearing a mask, they all looked at probably a fine of €600 apiece. All right. Anyway, an interesting thing here, which another interesting story that came to light yesterday regards bar owners, restaurant owners, etc. And maybe you're a bar owner or a restaurant owner, you might be interested in this story because it could help you, all right? Anyway, food service professionals, as they're described here in Greece, are considering resorting to the administrative courts to seek compensation from the state, as the losses they have incurred are hard to fathom, and they argue that the support they have been getting is insufficient. Anyway, there are already some 30 to 40 such demands from businesses in the Athens area alone, and similar action by food services enterprises in the rest of the country can't be ruled out. So Zakynthos, this might be something you might be interested in getting involved with. Anyway, there's a lawyer in Athens by the name of Maria Potanaki. She is also, apart from being a lawyer, she's also a bar owner as well, and she has a place in central Athens. And she was speaking to the Greek press yesterday, saying that a law firm that she cooperates with is already looking into the issue. And she says, I believe that in March that the case will have been submitted. Now, she forms part of an initiative called the Circle of Food Service Professionals, all right? Ms. Benaki further stated, at the moment we have collected demands from about 40 enterprises. Our initiative represents 300 enterprises, but we are also in talks with 50 associations from around Greece. Now, I'm not sure if anybody from Zakynthos is talking to this lawyer up in Athens, but it might be an idea for you probably to get in touch with her. Anyway, she further added, the compensation food service companies will demand will correspond to a share of their 2019 turnover, which is likely to be a reasonable level, but definitely below 50%. The precise rate will be determined soon based on the research that the lawyers are conducting. That'll be interesting. Without having had to be prompted, the German government, she said, is handing out compensation to food service companies because corresponding to 75% of their 2019 turnover. And the French government is also handing out very high compensation as well. And we are aware that this is neither, we are aware, she says, this is neither Germany nor France, and we certainly do not have such high levels of demand. But Tanaki stressed that the sector is desperate, and as for the enterprises that are unable to offer takeaway or delivery services, every day that passes, she says, is critical and possibly fatal to their business. Anyway, Mrs. Benaki warned food service professionals say that their discussions with the government officials point to the sector staying closed up till May. So it looks like they're looking at May at the moment. We were talking about maybe in March after Carnival, but we will wait and see. And then she said, if not May, it might be June. Anyway, everybody has debts to someone. We fear that 1 in every 2 will never reopen after the sector is allowed to operate again. The first batch of enterprise closures has already surfaced in Athens neighbourhood of Klounenaki, Santagma, Gazi and Pasuri, with the main lease contractors that expired have not been renewed as landlords wanted an increase in the rent. So it looks like landlords are putting up the money even though people aren't earning anything, which I think is kind of out of order. I think landlords should be understanding to the situation. If I can't open, I can't earn money and I can't pay your rent. But to get people out of the business because they're not paying the rent, when they're not able to pay the rent, it just smacks a bit of not the right thing to be done. Anyway, also interestingly, Greek authorities said yesterday that the Spanish police, working with the US Secret Service, have shut down a criminal network that has pocketed more than 12 million euros via a credit card scam that extended right across 15 countries. Overall, the network spanned more than 3 US states, 15 European countries, including Greece, Austria, Britain, Denmark, Ukraine and Germany. However, they haven't enlightened us as to what the details of the scam was, as to whether you might have been a victim or not. But anyway, that's another little story that got highlighted in the Greek main media. And also yesterday, if you heard a lot of noise yesterday around the island, it might have been this what was going on. The Greek Defence Ministry said yesterday that Rafale, Mirage and F-16 fighter jets have been practicing air refuelling over Zakynthos, as part of the Skyros 21 mission. So those loud noises you could hear could have been aircraft flying above, or maybe... And finally, my finally story, a Greek army unit has been in Zakynthos since last Monday, since the beginning of the week, in order to undertake the controlled destruction of the very large amount of explosives that were found in the abandoned house in Keri just a few days ago. Although looking at the weather, I would think they were probably having problems with trying to do their job because rain was stopping play, especially with dealing with explosives, all right, in the wet. Anyway, it seems that a group of pyrotechnicians from an army unit based in Corinth carried out the process of controlled explosions on Monday, and they will continue to work through until all the quantities of explosive in the basement of that house have been destroyed. And there was over 800 kilos of explosive there, so they can't just set it all off in one big bang. They got obviously doing bit by bit. Anyway, the explosions or the destruction is taking place in a quarry, an old quarry. Where is it, that quarry? It's, I've lost where the quarry is. It's up by where the football pitch is, around that area. If people know where the, well, that's a bit of a silly thing, Ginge, football, there's enough football pitches. Anyway, it's on the road to Keri. It's just off the road to Keri, on the way towards Campi. Anyway, they've also got the fire section up there as well, who are also assisting with the army, and they're just there as a standby in case they should set fire to something while they're blowing up this explosive. However, the mystery of where this explosive is still yet to be ascertained from the police. The police have been quite open about what's been going on with the investigation. They said the explosives were found packaged and in good condition with all the characteristics related to their origin on the packing. However, no more information about that. In fact, it's the quarry at Lathakia, I've just remembered, is where they're doing the actual controlled explosions. Anyway, the investigation is continuing into the origins of this explosive, because 800 kilos, that's a lot of explosive. Again. Right, let's have a quick look and see who's online chatting to me. I can see comments as well coming out from people as well. Tracy M. Mitchell is there. Nice to see you, Tracy. Graham over there in Australia is tuning in. Nice to see you there, Graham. Jan Monson is also tuning in. Nice to see Jan. He's the man who introduced me to chickens, all right. Lyndon Erickson is also tuning in. Old Lyndon from Wales is there. Alf Ling is also watching as well. Alan Parks up there in sunny Catterick. How is the weather in Catterick? If it's raining, it's still sunny. Al Parks is watching as well, bless him. Steve Hinkling in Stoke-on-Trent is tuned in as well. Tim Crystal, our Elvis, is also tuning in. He says, morning, buddies. Stop with the warm weather, sunshine. It's cold and damp here. I'm sorry, mate, but we've had crap weather. I've just got to show you how the weather's improved here. So I'm sorry if it's making you a bit homesick for Zakynthos. Oh, bless you. Anyway, Lyndon says, morning, Ginge. It looks like spring has arrived in Zante. I've got to be honest, Lyndon. We've had irises out. We've had certain flowers that normally shouldn't be out until later in the year that have been out even around January time when we're having really kind of exceptional weather at certain points. So to be honest, everything is messed up. Not just everything with what's going on in the planet, but just with what's going on with the cycle of flowers and everything. They're all a bit confused as to what time it is and whether we should be up doing our thing. And so, yeah, it is like spring. I've got to be honest. It has been like spring, although the last few days it didn't feel like spring, to be honest. Anyway, Tracy M. Mitchell says, morning. Week off work and the weather not good here in Cornwall. Oh, bless you. Alex Spatis is also tuning in. Nice to see you tuning in, Alex. Tim Crystal, he says, morning, Lyndon. Hope you're well. Just pass the message on. Steve Hinkling says, Gallimera, not jealous of the weather at all. Okay, then. Tony Ardley is watching as well. Emma Marku from Essex is watching. Chick Ballantyne is watching. Paul Green over there in Sillery is watching. Nice to see you, Paul. He says, morning, DJ Ginge. Thank you, Paul. Lyndon, he says, fine, you look okay after the vaccine. I haven't had the vaccine. I'm okay anyway. I'm going to let others go before me, and I'm just going to wait a bit, and then we'll see what happens, all right? Alan Park says, does that car on your drive ever move? Well, that's not our car, Alan. That's our neighbours upstairs, the doctors. They've got 3 cars. And I think that's the one of the what we call the yayas, the grandmother and the grandfather of the little boy the doctors had, because they're busy working, and then grandma and granddad look after the little boy when he's not at school here. So there you go. Anyway, Simon Podgson is watching as well. Tim Crystal says, Lyndon, Tim's talking to Lyndon, said, yeah, he had the injection. His arm was a bit swollen and sore, but he was fine the next day. Thank you. Louise Green is watching as well. Nice to see you here, Louise. Amanda Gregory is watching. I'm looking forward to your weather forecast, Amanda. Stu Morris is watching as well. Nice to see you. Hilary Rogers is tuning in. Nice to see you looking in, Hilary. I hope you're doing well. Amanda Gregory, weather forecast from Amanda Gregory. She says, morning, hun. Dry and sunny with patchy cloud. Will feel cool in a light breeze and enjoy. Thank you for that, my lovely. I enjoy that. Maria Heidelberg from Sweden is also tuning in. Lovely to have you tuning in, my darling. Nice to see you. Christoponio, my old mate Christoponio, singer with the Drifters for a short while. Nice to have you there looking in as well, buddy. And ex-Raffridge buddy as well. Anyway, they're talking about arms now. Lyndon says, yes, mate, arm was a bit swollen and sore, but fine the next day as well. There you go. Anyway, and Tim Crystal says, I'm definitely a lot more positive, even planning my garden, laughing out. That's what Lyndon's saying to Tim. Tim says, I'm definitely a lot more positive and even planning. Oh, they're chatting away like crazy in there. He says, Lyndon says, yes, mate, that's great. I'm planning my allotment planting and clearing a new one too. Oh, he's busy then. Richard Stable is watching. Eric Monson says, blimey, 1,000 or so more deaths than China. Is that correct? We've had 1,000 more deaths. And do you know what? I wouldn't believe anything that the Chinese say at the moment. I'd be very, very cautious with China. And I think everybody is realising we have to be cautious with China. I'm so glad that Britain decided not to take the, the G5 internet thing from the Chinese. And the thing is, Greece, unfortunately, has really bitten in with China at the moment. I'll give them their due. China has come over. They redone the port. They've also had a hand in redoing the railways here as well. But it's coming in through the back door, gently, gently. We'll help you, we'll help you. And the next thing you know, they're with their feet up on the table, controlling the house, all right? So, yeah. So, again, China, for its billion population, has only had a couple of hundred deaths from coronavirus. And they're the ones that manufactured it. Maybe they've got some form of vaccine that they're not letting us know about yet at the moment. Probably cheaper and quicker. Anyway, Jane Jones says, hi, bud. Jane Jones is watching. And anyway, this man made food for thought. Do you hear anything of China now? Well, China, at the end of the day, everybody's trying to keep a little bit of a distance with China. The problem is with China is you can blame the corporations for this, and also ourselves. We want to buy a computer, we want to buy a colour telly, we want to buy something, you know, and we don't want to pay for it. We want to pay as little for it. And China was very conveniently could produce things cheaper and quicker and sometimes better than what the home markets could do. So in effect, we kind of let them in because the corporations didn't want to employ people on proper wages. Looking at profit ahead of the bigger picture is of the control that is slowly lost. Companies like Apple, who have all their machines made over in China, they're now beholden to the Chinese unless they're going to start opening plants in America, paying people proper wages. And are they able to produce? So we've lost our ability to produce goods and to make things. Now, if you think about America after the Second World War, where the Second World War, their production capacity had never run so big and never run so fast, and they stopped producing weapons and then started producing consumer products that gave rise to the consumer boom of the 1950s into the 1960s. However, while Britain was still in severe austerity because we were still paying for the war, America certainly lost its way, all right? And the corporations, I think, putting profit ahead of people's welfare, people's lives, I think that is a big mistake. And I think now people are going to be looking at, or corporations are going to be looking at, we'd rather, is our supply chain going to be wrecked because of the government's not being friendly towards China? So we can't get our cheap phones and laptops made as easy as what they could be done. But then the corporations would just fight back by putting the price up to cover the cost of the inconvenience. But the real thing is this, we need to get production back. We need to be making more than we import. We need to go back to the little bit of like, I'm talking about Britain and even Greece to a degree, the old spirit of during the Second World War, we had to grow more food, we had to do more at home because we couldn't get the stuff in because the Germans were trying to sink the ships bringing it in. So I think there has to be a balance that's created where a lot of companies now have to think really concisely, do we farm out our production to China or do we keep the production ourselves? Because the other issue with production as well with China was copyright. They copy everything, clone everything. I have to look at the cars that they're now making in China, copies of the of British made models like the Mini, the Range Rovers and that. Some of them look bloody good. And the thing is because they can afford to pay people a pittance in some respects for us here in the West. I'm babbling on now, so that was a good question that was raised there. Anyway, Yvonne says, good morning. Jane Jones says, really sorry to hear that you're locked down, and hopefully you will get through this because your country is far, far stricter than ours. Yet, to be honest, we are far, far stricter than what other countries have been. The interesting thing is that nobody at the moment is rebelling against the lockdown in the way that it's happened in Amsterdam or it's happened in Italy. A lot of people's businesses, I think the problem is businesses have to get back to work. Yes, we can have a curfew from 6 o'clock till 5 o'clock in the morning, but in some ways, does the lockdown really work? In a lot of respects, I don't think the lockdown has really worked. I still think that the Swedish experiment was the best way to have gone. Let the virus do its thing, protect the vulnerable, protect the old, let the virus do its thing, because now the virus is mutating because it hasn't had the people to prey on. People themselves haven't been building the resilience that they were that could have been built from the herd immunity, and therefore you feel now that you've made the battle in some ways a bit worse. We've already got strains of what they're calling the British virus at the moment up in Patra. We've also had the South African virus up, and it was interesting to hear that South Africa, the priority with South Africa was they put a ban on alcohol for their people. People are not allowed to drink. The population that they're dealing with, their priority is to eat. And so a lot of them wouldn't follow any lockdown, wouldn't do as they were told. And the South African virus has been going through their population. But in the realms of it, their actual virus statistics in comparison to everywhere else has been rather low, because their own people have obviously built a resistance to it. The only problem is that virus has obviously managed to somehow get out into the mainstream. But in the reality of it, the government of South Africa, and this is the problem where governments are involved too much with the healthcare, is that they were making things out because they were getting aid that was coming in. Everybody knows that the government of South Africa is corrupt, and therefore people would say, well, I ain't listening to you. My priority is to eat. I'm going to go out and do what I have to do to eat. So it's a complicated situation. But at the end of the day, we'll just wait and see how this plays out. But at the moment, everybody is playing the game, and mainly because we don't want to be fined. We don't want a €300 fine. We don't want a €5,000 fine if we're running a business. And that is the reason why people are complying at the moment. Anyway, Patrick Carroll over there in Cyprus says, morning Ginge, we're in lockdown from 9 o'clock till 5 o'clock. They are still complaining, you know, the Cypriots attitude. Well, there you go. But at least it was what we had. We were in lockdown from 9 o'clock till 5 o'clock. And also the knock-on effect of this thing is it also gives less time for those people that are working to be working. I did have somebody, I'm not going to say who it was, talking to me yesterday saying, I've lost 3 to 4 working hours of my day. It's put more pressure on me now because I have to be finished by and home by 6 o'clock at night, when I could have worked a few more hours, obviously, to make money, obviously, for his family, etc., etc. So, again, it has affected people because, trust me, we are not getting the furlough benefits that a lot of people in the UK are getting. We're far from getting those furlough benefits because at the end of the day, Greece can't afford it at the end of the day. Anyway, good, Jane Jones says, good, sting 'em all for breaking the laws. Rosewood is watching. Paula Carton is watching. Maria Hallberg is watching. I'm just going to quickly wig through, see if anybody else. Big shout out to Wiggy over there in Cyprus as well. Steve Thompson. Anyway, listen, I'm going to have to go because I'm burbling on now. Just to remind you, thank you yesterday for all those people that tuned in to my live show yesterday, Requesting Inspiration number 9. I did a little memory to the lovely Captain Tom and dedicated the show to him. Thank you to Les Paul in Florida, who private messaged me yesterday with a really lovely little story about his name and about his father and about how the music had inspired him and brought him back to his childhood with his dad. And his dad had named him after the brand of Les Paul guitar. Because as soon as I saw the name Les Paul, I thought, that's a guitar, that is. So that is the story. And I was really touched by that. So thank you for that. The show is up online on Mixcloud, so you can watch it at your own convenience. Unfortunately, Nuggins here, I didn't make a video version of the show. I only did an audio version, so there's no video version of the show. I'm sorry. Unless you watched it live, you would have seen the video there. So basically, I do apologise for that. But anyway, go online, check it out. Today I'm going to be making my Northern Soul show for Beats Radio, which will go out on Sunday afternoon. So I'm going to be in production doing that this afternoon. And don't forget, tomorrow I've got my Requesting Inspiration live show. That'll be Requesting Inspiration show number 10. Can I just say as well, my Northern Soul show charted yesterday from Beats Radio. I was chuffed about that. plus as well the other show number 8 charted as well, and also the first dance anthem or second dance anthem show charted as well, which I was really chuffed about in the Mixcloud chart. So you can check me out there. I've just seen a quick little message from Woes Wood. Was at the police station yesterday and I saw the army there. Well, there you go. The army's on the island blowing up all this explosive. Right, that's it from me. I will catch you later. Once again, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you later. I'll keep my ear to the ground and see what's happening. Ta-ra. Catch you later. Bye.